term copywriting on Google has hit an all-time high.
A copywriter can get 10 grand for a sales page. It's every single thing that comes out of your mouth as a business owner.
Because it adds value to your business and to your sales. It will make a difference to your business.
Hi and welcome back to the Mindset and Marketing Podcast. My name is Matthew Toman and I am your co-host for today, joined with
Sharon Kirkpatrick.
At the Mindset and Marketing Podcast, our aim is to give you jargon-free information around everything mindset and everything marketing, always focusing on trying to educate you more to build your business, grow your sales, do all those different things. And, you know, mindset is one of the most important things out there, and I'm definitely glad that I had spent so much time working on it in the past, and it's something that I recommend everybody to get into, mindset and marketing. What's the crack? How have you been?
Good. I had a nice chilled week and weekend. Went to Waterman House again, where we went for our Christmas dinner and got Chateaubriand. I've been learning how to say that properly.
Chateaubriand. Is that what you said?
Now, here was the thing. It was a bit, because it's obviously a Sharon kind of steak meal. And I was with my friend and she was like, when they say, how do you want it cooked? And I forgot to ask her before. And then we just had to agree on the spot, and she likes hers medium. And I was like, darn it. Because I'm always medium rare.
Oh, yeah, so am I.
But then,
I'm medium rare.
Then I thought, do you know what? It's okay, because even if it was well done, and I'm not advocating well done steaks on this podcast, that's not what we're about. But even if it was well done in Waterman House, it would still be amazing. So then I just went, we'll go with medium. Anya
texts her like, well done.
That's offensive.
Like, what? I'm like, what the hell? I kind of like a bit of blood throughout the plate, you know?
I'm the same, to be fair. I'm the same as you. So yeah, we did that.
What do you call that other one? What do you call that other one where it's like raw?
Oh, tartare.
Steak tartare. I actually love that.
I can't.
As well. No.
Do you know why? It's a mind over matter thing with that. When I look at it, I'm like, it just looks like what it is. Yeah.
It looks like kind of mince, yeah.
And then I start thinking about it, and then overthinking, and then I'm going to be sick. Which is weird, because obviously medium rare, you're still getting a bit of the red, you know. So I don't know.
Well, actually, do you know, the last time I got steak tartare, we were in Lisbon that time, and I was meant to pour a shot of whiskey or something over it. I think to like kill bacteria.
Oh yes, and then
I couldn't do that because I don't. And then it was like shit. And then I was like eating it, going, "Oh my god, am I going to get sick now?"
You didn't though, sure you didn't?
No, didn't. I would add it again. I'm starving now, actually.
Do you know, one time I was out with your aunt and your uncle and your cousin Jonathan and Kira, his partner, and it was the first time I'd been in somebody's company who was ordering steak tartare, and it was Kira, and I was like trying not to look at her plate because it was putting me off my meal, and as well, not just that, it comes like with an egg on top a lot of the times. Well, I don't know, the times I've seen it, and I couldn't cope. I was like, no. Don't look.
So what did you? So you went to Waterman House, and then what else?
Yeah, and we went out and had the crack, and I started this new book.
I saw that the other day on your thing, Joe Malone. Who's
so
that?
I got
is that
this
about
for
the makeup or the? Oh yes, that's an interesting story actually. Yeah.
I got this years ago for my birthday, and I had never read it because I need to be in the form for like an autobiography or memoir, whatever you want to call it. So then I read it yesterday, and here the first few pages, like I was just about to send to you. So this one's very relevant actually to mindset and marketing. So you know the way you have to kind of start the book with a wee mention.
Oh yeah.
She says, and to every entrepreneur who each day takes one more step of courage and never gives up on their dream. She's dedicating the book to them.
Oh, that's to us, yeah.
Yeah, and to the people who listen to this podcast. So if you're not inspired by us, be inspired by Joe Malone, because everyone knows
if you don't believe us, believe Joe. Yeah.
Yeah, and then let me just quickly say, so the next page, whenever you go into your prologue, she said, basically it starts with a journalist interviewing her, and the journalist basically says, so tell me something that I don't know about you, you know, or the brand. And then she said, well, I'm not the posh bird everyone thinks I am. I was raised on a council estate, dropped out of school at 15 and have 0 qualifications. I'm also dyslexic. I struggle to tell the time and often get confused between my left and right and can barely drive. I've actually never been brilliant at anything except for making fragrances. So I was thinking of you, because obviously you did, that's kind of your journey.
Well, I did drop out. I'm okay. I love driving, but I'm not good with knowing what day it is. I never know the day. Like, I never know the day. Yeah,
and you finished up school and you're dyslexic?
Yeah. I ran out of school at 16 and then I'm dyslexic, yeah. But the funny one that I, like even today, Daniel said, are you recording the podcast today? And I was like, how did I not know it was Monday? Like yesterday was Sunday and nobody was, nobody was in work.
You don't really have a structure to your day the way that we all do, you know? So you probably, the way people feel when they're off on holiday and then every day rolls into one. That's kind of probably how you feel all the time, because there's no real like, right, I have to start work at this time and finish at this time, you know.
I'm kind of like that with years. They just keep rolling into the other one.
But I am obsessed with this new book. So I'm only a third. I'm still actually only on her blimmin' childhood, but it's so good. It's so good.
Very good. Brilliant.
What did you get up to?
That's really, it's an interesting story. Since last week, what did I do? I had people around last night for food. I went out on Saturday. Saturday I got up and went to a gym, and then I went for a walk around the park that I normally walk around, got home, had my breakfast, and then my friend messaged me saying, have you done your lap of the park yet? And I said, yeah, she said, come back down, I want to do another one. Then we done another one, and then she said, let's go get an ice cream, but we ended up not going for an ice cream and ended up going to do Runyon Canyon instead, which was like an hour and 10-minute hike after all of that. So my body was in bits yesterday. Went out on Saturday night for dinner with a friend, went to see a gig. One of my other friends was singing in a band in a bar.
Nice.
Went to see that, and then where else? And then yesterday again, just up, went to a fair just on Melrose, like this little like market stall thing. Went to that, and yeah, it's been a quiet week.
What's it like when you go out in LA versus when you go out back home to a gig? Like, is everyone mental?
Not as much. Well, it depends, because we were meant to go for dinner on Saturday night, and we booked a table, and then we ended up I forgot my friend was playing on a gig, so I was like, let's go there. But this was more like bands playing, so they had like a 1 hour slot, I think, or like a 40-minute slot within a multiple of other bands. So people really sat and listened. And I really enjoyed like listening to it. So it was a different vibe. Then we were meant to go to this nightclub around the corner from me, but we ended up just going home.
Well,
I was so tired.
Speaking of nightclubs, I haven't seen the article yet, but I've heard it on the news. The way news plays on the radio where we are. So there was a guy, Rashford, who plays for United, and he came over to Belfast for the weekend or a couple of days or whatever. And basically he was pictured in Thompsons, which is like
the most iconic club in Belfast.
But it's crazy. Like, I haven't been in years. It's intense. It's great.
I've only been Thompsons twice. I can't do it.
I can't do it. But he
if
went
I
there.
Had discovered. Oh right, okay.
And then obviously missed his flight back and everything. Missed the match, and
oh my god!
It's basically costing him hundreds of thousands of pounds because he went to Thompsons.
That pretty much is what Thompsons is, though.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, that's what, when you go to see the 2 times I went to Thompsons, something similar happened to me.
I see the 2 times.
It destroyed my life.
See the 2 times I went to Thompsons. The first time I got through it, and the second time I lasted about 25 minutes, and I was like, I can't.
Oh yeah.
It's like dance music,
I'm glad
and
I
it's
didn't.
intense.
I'm glad I didn't discover it whenever I was like 17 or something, because I was never on the Belfast scene, but that is definitely somewhere that I would have went to.
I was laughing going, like whenever you are maybe trying to bunk off work because you've had a mad night, like there's no way he can. It's all over.
Oh yeah, I know that's funny.
And it's cost him a fortune. Oh, there
God,
we
he's
go.
in trouble then. That's mad.
I know.
Yes, we've done that. It was a really good weekend. Actually, it's just been very chilled. You know, brilliant.
Is it hot over there now?
Yesterday and the day before was like summer's day, like in LA, like like 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So what is that?
I don't know.
80 degrees Fahrenheit and Celsius. 27.
Oh,
26.7, so 27 degrees essentially. So it was high. It was
nice.
probably, I think it was actually 84. But it was in and around that anyway. But it was a scorching day. It was so beautiful. The sky was as blue as the ocean, and it was really nice. I was actually going to go down to Venice Beach for a spin, but we ended up just going around the market stalls, had some food, and just chilled. You know.
I was on to a client earlier today, and they're in Madrid at the minute, and it was like 18 degrees, and I was going.
18 degrees is brilliant though. Like at this time of the year, because
like we're here, and it's like minus again.
Is it minus? Oh no, I'm not doing a winter anywhere again that's cold ever.
It kind of makes me wonder.
I'm never doing anywhere that's wet and windy again.
It makes me wonder how I'm going to feel about my upcoming ski trip, because it's in like 3 weeks, and I'm like, I hate the cold.
Oh, it's completely different though, because you're warm and cozy in the clothes, and then you get up and then the sun's shining and everything like that is going on, you know, so it's all good.
I'll let you know how I get on when that happens, you know.
Yeah. So what are the topics for today's podcast?
I wonder should I do a podcast from like, where could I take my stuff? That'd be quite fun. Right, we'll figure that out.
No, we'll do it from your mobile and your AirPods the same way. We're doing this from our mobiles now, so what's the difference?
Well, I've got nice lights around me here. I won't have them. I'll just get everyone to stand with lamps.
The sun. You'll have the sun will be beaming on you.
Yeah. Oh, very good. We'll see how that goes. We might give it a go, but it might not air because it might be crap. Because of me.
We'll just pre-record one just in case.
Yeah.
But so what is today's topic of the podcast?
So I thought today we could talk about copywriting.
Yeah.
So
very good.
Yeah, I was thinking it's so important now. In fact, obviously I was doing a bit of research and found out that it's kind of more important than ever. So one of the things was that the term copywriting on Google has hit an all-time high. Like it's skyrocketed. And that means that people are searching for copywriters, or people trying to understand copywriting because they know the power that it can have for your business. So I thought it might be a good idea.
All of the .com boom people, like my friends who like were doing millions in the .com era in the late 90s, early 2000s, 2007, 12, like coming all the way through, like they have had copywriters that they've been paying a fortune for a lifetime. You know, it's now broke through to the masses. That's the thing. It's now like everybody's understanding it. But at one point, I do believe it was one of the like main secrets that people just didn't know about. They didn't understand. They actually did know about, but they never ever put value on it. And I think the majority of business owners out there now, especially ones that aren't doing well, don't hold copywriting to the value that it should be.
And that's
held to.
So yeah, that's so valid. And that's probably why today, you know, we'll try and focus on it and explain to people, you know, why it is important. And it does take time, and it takes, you know, learning. Like it's not a case where you just rock up and start, you know, trying to create great copy for your marketing. So I thought today we could share some of our knowledge. We could look at some examples of how the big brands are doing it, and we could provide some tips for people who are obviously have never done it before. Because let's be honest, a lot of kind of smaller businesses or entrepreneurs can't afford to hire a copywriter potentially. So I think the average salary was something like 55 grand, you know, for a really good copywriter. Like and they're getting like 100 really something an hour if it's by the hour.
A copywriter can get 10 grand for a sales page. 10,000. I know copywriters that get $10,000 for one sales page. Yeah. Like I know them.
And why can they get that much? Because it adds value to your business and to your sales.
That sales page or maybe a sales funnel, but that sales funnel might be generating millions. So 10 grand's nothing.
Yeah.
To the business owner. So copywriting, I done a video the other day. It went out on YouTube Shorts, and it was how do you start a business with £10, £100, and £1,000. £10 one was buy a book called Ready, Fire, Aim. It's absolutely brilliant. I forget what the writer's name is because he went under a different name, but it's Mark Ford that actually wrote it. He was in one of my documentaries. Second one was £99, buy a Skillshare account. If I only had £99, and I would do every course on copywriting. That was actually what it was in the video. And we shot this video like a year and a half ago. Yeah. And then the third one was if you had 1,000, do Mindset and Marketing Academy with like Life's a Beach. I didn't say that at the time, but that is what I'm saying now. If you had €1,000, I would be doing Life's a Beach for $500 or whatever. But the second one was Skillshare and every single course that you can do on copywriting, everything.
And that's the thing, yes, it's expensive to hire a copywriter, but you can educate yourself, on how to. You're not going to be the best copywriter in the whole entire world. But if you start taking, well, you could be if you keep learning, but if you start taking some of these courses and start educating yourself on this, it will make a difference to your business.
There's a formula to it. There's a formula to it. Like, you got to learn.
Exactly. So first of all, for anybody out there who's going, what the hell is copywriting? Maybe they don't know, Yeah. It's text or copy that you use to market your business or promote your business. So that can be on loads of different platforms. So that's the text on your website, the text on your social media channels, the text in the emails that you send out. There's so many different things.
Anywhere that you communicate at all, flyers, billboards, like the copywriting is also like audio that goes on to like a radio ad. That's copywriting that somebody wrote. Yeah. TV ads, VSLs, video sales ladders, that's a full teleprompter with a script coming by that's been written by a really successful copywriter that knows the words to say that's going to convert your product. It's every single thing that comes out of your mouth as a business owner.
Yeah. And previously, if you haven't really thought about it, obviously you'll probably be listening to this if you've already got a business or you're thinking of starting one. So if you're thinking of starting one, do the copywriting course first, like Matthew said, get educated so that you can start to promote and really put your best foot forward the minute you step online or in person. But for anybody out there who already has a business, you probably have your website up, you're probably already on your socials, and it's really taking a second to be honest with yourself and say, did I pull together this text based on just what I thought would work or all about my business? And then maybe think, if you haven't done any bit of work into understanding copywriting, now is the time to do it because it will impact how people reach out to you. And when we go through this podcast, we're going to give you some stats to prove that that's the case, So it doesn't have to be that you have to go and hire a copywriter. You can start making changes as well once you have the knowledge, and then in turn you will see the benefits of that. So yeah, I think for us, as well, like just thinking about why copywriting is more of a hype now, I think because more and more people are online, you have obviously more competitors online, so you kind of have to put the effort in, to being able to speak to people in a certain way. You can't really get away anymore with just putting like a brochure website up or some post that you haven't thought about.
This is a way that I always said in like a really like layman's terms type thing, the way that I understand it. If you were in front of that person, would you say the words that are on your website? For example,
like a robot.
Bankhouse Media, founded in 1940. You know what I mean? Like, are you going to say the people put the About Me section on because they focus about themselves? So it's like somebody walking into your shop to buy something, and you're like, and they're like, "Hi, can I have I'm in here looking for like a pair of trainers." No worries, come this way. And while you're walking there, we were founded in 1974 by my grandfather. It was handed down to my dad, and now I've taken it over. I'm really passionate about. That person's looking at you like, I don't care. What the I don't care about it being founded and whatever. Where the business owner feels that has to be really important. and
Yeah.
holds it to a really high importance. Yes, it is. If you're at the last checkout and someone's paying by their card and they happen to say to you, "Oh, how long have you been here?" Say, "Oh, actually, my grandfather opened this in 1974. So you'd have it down in your website hidden away somewhere, but it wouldn't be like leading with. Do you know what I mean?
No. In fact, whenever we are, whenever we've got clients who are prospects coming through the agency, there's kind of, they're normally looking for websites or ad campaigns and the likes, or they want more leads and they don't know what's going on. The number one thing is obviously, do you have a website? Is it working or is it broke? And then second to that, what we always look at in the agency is, what are you saying? What are you actually saying online? And I don't know one client that's come through our agency that we haven't had to update the copywriting for their website.
Oh, but see the before and after? Like, we have so
Yeah.
many businesses where here's what they were doing before and here's now what they're doing after. And there is no hiding it. There's no comparison. It's like, yes, there's other elements in it. There's different images. It's a different feel. It's maybe, there's a couple of different things. But the majority of it is coming down to the copywriting that is there, and that is it. And your taglines.
Yeah, we'll get into some kind of, specifics, but generally as a whole, how we normally approach it is that the first rule of thumb is that make sure the copy or the text on any of these platforms is about your customer, not about you. You can get yourself in a way, but it has to be about the customer. Then number two is make sure, or try and use kind of, we call it pains and gains messaging, but basically try and introduce or speak to your customers' pains, so whatever problems they're having. So if, for example, you're a teeth whitening company, obviously stained teeth, yellow teeth, whatever it might be, and their gains, brighter smile, wider smile, all of that. And whenever you start to do that, you'll see the copy. In fact, if you go and do it now on your website or your socials and just see, have you kind of already hit those two key points? That's kind of a rule of thumb for us. And I mean, copywriting, there's loads of different rules but there's loads of different formulas, like you said, for copywriting. And it depends on whether or not you're creating a website or it's an ad campaign or all of that. But generally speaking, those top level points are kind of key. Whenever you start to get into social media and more frequent content that's changing all of the time, a third point for us just at top level is always to make sure that you vary your messaging, so it's not just so there's different purposes to messaging. So one, for example, is to promote or persuade a client, one is to inspire a client, one's to educate a client. So don't always just pick one purpose. You should vary the purposes so that people aren't. So if you think, for example, you're doing a social media post and all you ever put is sale, new product, it's very boring for the client. They're not really feeling heard, they're just feeling sold to. And that can cause a bit of friction online. So they're kind of the top level points that we kind of say in the agency, which obviously we got from you.
What do you call it? Sorry, go on ahead.
No, I was just going to go into some. I just wanted to then, as an example, so then I was thinking about some of the biggest brands in the world, and I just did a quick jump onto their websites. I talk mostly about websites because that's kind of what I do all day. But I jumped onto their websites just to see what they were saying and just to give examples to everybody to let them start to think about copywriting and how they're using it. So I'll have to read these so I don't get it wrong. But Apple, with example, they lead with so strong, so light, so pro. So there are benefits to the client. It's a durable phone. They're talking to the pains of the client, which is a heavy phone that's going to break all the time. So they've led with the benefit to the client, so strong, so light, so pro. Coca-Cola, experience future inspired flavor. So again, they're not talking about they're talking about the benefit to the client. you know, the taste of the Coke, something new. Like they're not leading with, you know, we've got a new flavour on. So they're saying experience.
Yeah.
Nike, find your feel.
Okay.
I'll give you just one more. American Express. There's a little holiday in the things you buy. So not
The
one of
credit card
them.
ones are always good.
Not one of them has mentioned their brand at all. And it can be done in a few words. It's all about the customer.
I will never forget being in America, and like even whenever I've obviously been into marketing for over 10 years now. But I can remember being in America and out for dinner with one of my friends, very liberal friend. All the talk was about the political movement. Donald Trump was going for office. Hillary Clinton was going. And my friend obviously supported Hillary Clinton, was like very determined. And I said, I actually think Donald Trump might win. And he said, what? I can't believe you support Trump. And I said, I don't support anybody. I can't vote in here. It's not, I'm saying like, just going by their slogans, I think he might win. And he was like, what do you mean by that? And I said, he has got a slogan saying, let's make America great again. It literally like echoed throughout the whole world. It's like one of the most repeated sayings that anybody says, but it's like, let's make America great again. So it's about the other one. And her slogan at the time was, I'm with her. Right? So I can remember saying, but do you not see like as a subliminal marketing trend that it's like one is like inclusive and about them, about something else, about something they care about, like a leading benefit. Like, and the other one is about a person. And I said, I think like that is how that is resonating so much. It's like all down to marketing. Obviously, you know, Trump's whole marketing. I'm totally like, I love researching political marketing strategies in Ireland and England and America, everywhere, because I think that you learn so much from them. They've got like the top people that pay so much money on their marketing strategies, and you learn so much from them. But he lost his mind whenever I said I think he might win, and we had to change the subject very fast. But I said no, only by their slogans.
Yeah,
I said one's inclusive with a really leading benefit, and one is about a person. I'm with her. It's like, what does that even mean? What the hell are they doing?
And it started with her. I'm.
Yeah.
Like one of the tips is that if you use the word you in the headlines, or your slogans, I know he didn't use you, but he used the complete opposite. She used the complete opposite. I'm. It's about her. You can increase conversions by up to 47% by using the word you.
Yeah, but what he done was one of the other ones that you just said, and that's why I brought it up. Was leading with like the problem and the benefit at the end, because alluding to the fact America's not great, and then leading into the fact that it's going to be. Yeah.
And he didn't really have to use the word you because he's talking about that. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, I am saying that stat, but I'm just saying, the reason I brought that up was because she said the word I'm.
Oh, yeah. I know, and that's like, the thing. Like, you have to try and stay away from that. Like, I'm the best in the market. People take it a bit arrogant. They take it, maybe you're getting their back up a little bit, or they're trying to prove you wrong. Or it's like, if you just talk to their problem, you know, have you got a problem with your hair extensions? Well, I could offer a solution that might help. You know, what is the problem, and then what is the solution that you could sort of help with? And, you know, copywriting, I think I was always good at sales, even from I was like 10, you know, trying to get what I want, or like my mum and dad said. Well, I used to work in my granddad's pet shop, and that was my granddad was actually like a real wheeler dealer, you know, and had like all different businesses, and I learned like a lot from him, just about like, I can't remember this because I wasn't born, but he used to have vegetable like rounds with the van selling firelighters. But then whenever he bought the yard, he had like, I would have walked down after being in going into the pet shop and really excited, because you know that smell of a pet shop and everything you get, you're like, oh my God, it's really exciting. I was working there with my granddad, and then next thing I went back down the next week, and it was all like rows of settees and like all this furniture, and I was like, what's going on? And he said, oh, pet shop wasn't really working, and he opened a furniture shop. And I was like, oh my God. But I just saw him, how he sold to people. He would have took his jacket off and sold it. He would have, if somebody would have wanted bad, he would have took it off. And I can remember looking at him going, oh my God, is Granda selling his jacket? you know, that type of thing. And then so
Yes, he is.
I, from a young age, I kind of like learnt those types of things where it's like, you know, that everything's kind of for sale. There's a value on everything, but it's about how that person would have needed it, like that person really needed the jacket, so they're going to buy it. It's about knowing that, okay, this isn't working, let's change it. You know, the pet shop's dead. It's not bringing in money. It's costing me money. I know something else we could do. You know, and that yard turned over so many different things. Then my Uncle Pete opened the mechanics in it. But you learned a lot. You learn a lot from a young age, from around you, and it's just about selling. And it actually, how my granddad spoke to people, how he spoke to people, was copywriting. He just had it inside him and instinctively. I have a lot of it instinctively, but I can't. I struggle with the writing part because I'm dyslexic. You know, until we worked out a formula, I'm like, okay, I answer that question, and then it does it for you itself.
And I was actually thinking that as you were speaking, you know, back in the day, your granddad wouldn't have had like an online presence, you know, to sell.
Yeah.
So his copywriting would have been how he spoke to people. You know, back in the day, it would have been those sales reps that went out, and obviously they still exist. But now your sales rep is whatever you're putting online, the text that you're putting online, and that's how you have to speak to someone. If you went in, and I remember in one of my other jobs I worked in years and years ago, we went to face-to-face meetings. Every meeting was a face-to-face meeting, and I was an account manager, but so I was coming at it from a client perspective because my job is to manage their account and help them if they have any problems. And then, so I was going from that perspective, and the sales rep was coming with me, and he came in, but he's going at it from a money perspective. He wants a sale, he wants more business, you know, out of them to upsell. And as soon as he walked into the room with me, the client had said to me, I hope he's put his sales jacket on the hanger at the front of reception there, because I'm not listening to that today. And then really what you can do is actually upsell to them anyway, just by helping them, you know, and always being there.
That's the thing. It's like you're always selling, but you're never selling. Like I'm selling every time. I'm selling right now in this with what I'm saying, but I'm not like out trying to make a sale. I'd like, even whenever Sharon came to work for a bank house, she's like, straight up, I'm not doing sales. Don't ask me to. Don't talk to me about them. And I said, you don't realize. I said, I sell every day, but it's not this any way that you've ever sold before. They're inbound leads, and we offer such high value and service that people come and spend. Yeah. That's it. We sell through our customer service and the work that we do. People come back all over and over.
If you think about your business and the fact that how the sales journey has changed, where most of it's online now, you know, you're not getting that opportunity to have that first conversation with a client. So it's so important that whatever you're saying on all of those platforms resonates with them immediately, because otherwise they're away. You know, you don't have the call anymore. So you got to make sure you're putting your best foot forward. And look, there is a million different things that you can learn about copywriting, and as Matthew said, there's loads of courses. I'm sure you can get free courses on YouTube, and there's Skillshare that Matthew mentioned.
Well, what we actually do have, right, that actually is, and you know, because we have our business broke into several different departments, right? So Sharon doesn't work on this side, but our movie, The Digital Marketing Revolution, right? So we sell Life's a Beach through Digital Marketing Revolution as well. And we have this copywriting masterclass that is literally video series from the people that are in there, from the top copywriters in the world. It is next level. Alex Catoni, Stefan Georgi, Mark Ford, like the Alex Catoni is one of the best copywriters out there. She owns a copy posse. Everybody follow her immediately.
She's amazing.
Cool. Her content's cool. She's just amazing, and she gives so much free stuff. She's got a really good challenge that she does for like $1,900. If you've got the money, do it. I'm serious. And it's brilliant.
Like Matthew said, just follow her on Instagram and YouTube, because she gives you so much as well.
Her YouTube account is brilliant. It's over 100,000 subscribers. Well, probably way over that now, last time I was on it. But she's great. But there's so many amazing people in copywriting, and they charge a fortune. You know, they do, but it is worth it. Like, we have paid a lot of money for copywriters before in the past. And I can remember whenever we had bought this copywriting course, and I can remember saying to Daniel, this is absolutely insanity. Like, are you serious that we are doing this? Like, what the hell are we doing this for? And then whenever I started to see it, even with teeth whitening fairies, like, I was like, okay, this was the best money we ever spent, ever, you know? And it's copywriting.
So what are you saying there? Sign up to the digital marketing revolution, or do you
Watch
mean
the digital marketing revolution. Watch the digital marketing revolution, and you know, we have got a copywriting masterclass that is in there, part of that offer. But just watch the digital marketing revolution anyway, because it actually talks a lot about copywriting, and there's a whole section. There's a 3-part formula, and one of them is copywriting, but it's with the best copywriters in the world.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
It's like they're the best. Like, Stefan Georgi has, like, I think his mastermind's like 40,000 a year to join, and he just does copywriting.
Yeah.
And I think he's got a lot of people in it. Like, you want to see how many people's in that? It's 40 grand a year just to be in his network. He's in the movie.
Honestly, you'll see the difference if you start to implement even a quarter of what you learn, or 10% of what you learn, you know. To help kind of try and persuade, use a bit more to take action on the copywriting side of things. I've got a few other stats for you and tips, really, so you can actually start with these tips. So I already said to you about using the word you if you can. Headlines with questions in them. So like start headline the top of your page or your top of your email marketing, whatever, with as a question, increases traffic by 480%.
Wow. And so is that like yeah, no, that's unreal.
480%. And then 80% of people will only ever read the headline, and 20% of them will then read the rest. So
I have full-blown debates. I have full-blown debates with some of my friends, right, about like a news topic, and then after a while I've discovered they've only read the headline.
Well, it's fact.
And
we're
like,
talking 80%.
Why are you wasting my time? Yeah.
Only 20% of people are going to read on down. And that's why, right, when you see websites, they're broken up with lots of different headlines. So even if people just read the first one, which is where most of them are stopping, so that's important, then you should break it up down your page with different, titles, because the chances are they're going to scroll and just read those titles. The same with social media posts. So that's why, whenever people are doing those social media captions at the top, they have one line that stands out against the rest, because most people aren't going much further than that. Now, that's not to say just write a headline and then stop, because if you do that, people expect to scroll and they're going to think, they're going to be like, what's going on here? This isn't important. Or they're not doing it right. My mind's messed up. So yeah, that's interesting. And this is why this is really apparent on ad campaigns. So anytime we're running ad campaigns, or any of the big companies out there running ad campaigns, they will turn the ad campaign on, and they will monitor it and literally play about with that headline and keep changing it. And sometimes all they change is the headline, and they make like literally millions more just by changing a headline. We
go through, we have a formula for like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas sale and January sale, and it's the same product with different copy.
Yeah.
Every single thing about the product is the same.
Yeah.
And you can tell when people buy in, when they don't, when it's more effective. Like, the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's just the only thing that's changed about it is the copywriting.
Which
and
you
sometimes
think is
the price.
But
yeah, but people think they're buying something completely different.
Yeah.
Because we're maybe leading with a different pain point.
Exactly.
At a different time of the year.
Yeah. And then as well, sometimes you might think like a pain point is relevant, and really your customer doesn't really care about that, and you won't know until you start playing about with things, It does.
I'll give a couple of examples on that. I'll give a couple of examples on that. So say, for example, we were running a campaign all year, 7 days to a brighter smile. Then it was like our biggest sale yet, Black Friday, or get your whatever the offer is. And then it could turn into stocking fillers pick up the perfect Christmas present for a discounted price, and then it could be like focusing on then yourself maybe with the January sales. Do you know what I mean? It could be something around, everyone to have a brighter smile, or, whatever that may be around that product. But seasonal copywriting, what is the problem at that time? Oh my God, I have to buy my sister-in-law a present and I can't be bothered. People just grab anything for a stocking filler. They don't really care what the product is, as long as it's a good price and they think the person's going to like it. But sometimes they're just doing that because out of convenience,
Yeah.
So you could run an ad just about convenience, about like, here's a stocking filler. The Black Friday stuff can definitely be very much like for the person. Try to keep that focused on the person's needs, because they're banned for themselves. They're like, what do I need right now, and what is the best offer that I can give?
Yeah.
So it's just, but it's all the same product, and literally people will react at that tagline, copy and the thing in, yeah.
If you think about anything, like even if we think about our websites and we're wanting to talk about our websites, there's a million different headlines we could lead with for a website, It could be leading with struggling to get visitors on your site, need more sales from your website not working for you.
Is your website dated? Are you sick of paying hosting every year? Is your website out of date and don't know what to do? A lot of people who have websites in their businesses, which I found that they have a fear around it, where they're like, oh my God, I don't know. I haven't got the login details. They've been pushing it. They've been kicking it down the street, the problem. And if you can like reassure them with your copy at the start, just saying, got a problem with your site, don't worry, we've got it, we can take it under control,
A great thing to kind of try and get into the mindset, because back to the main thing, it's about the customer and not you. So a great tool that we have internally to try and get into that mindset is what we call like that empathy map. So you just literally get a piece of paper or your laptop out and you write the following titles. What is my customer thinking? What is my customer seeing? What is my customer hearing? What is my customer saying? And then you start to write bullet points under each of those headers. And then you're going to start coming up with ideas for the copy that you could then use across your marketing.
Yeah.
But it is, and just to kind of further outline why it should all be about the customer, a couple more stats. I'm almost done. So including the word because along with a reason for people to act can increase conversions by 60 to 94%. So what that means is you've come up with kind of your headline, and then you have to say like a why or because. So for example, brighter, wider smile. And then below that on your page or your social media post or whatever, you could then start to introduce your business and say, Teeth Whitening Fairies can guarantee this. I'm using our client as an example.
Yeah.
Hope Aisling doesn't mind.
She doesn't at all ever, yeah.
Because we have this, everything, guarantees, testimonials, all of this. And then that's kind of your formula, that's wrapping it up really quickly.
Another way to use because as well is, you identify the problem. You're having this problem because, and then educate them on why they're having that problem, right? So like with your expert, you're having this problem with your website or your lead generation or whatever it is because, and then you go through, and whenever you educate someone, and it's a strategy that I decided to do in Bankhouse Media in 2019, we were like, give the client everything, tell them what we believe their problem to be. They could have took that information and went somewhere else. And in many cases, people did. And then they did come back after a while whenever the person that they went with didn't fully understand it. And, we've been very fortunate that way. But we're very much like educate them on why you're the leading expert in it. And then, to say, you're having this problem because educate them. And here's what we would offer as a solution. And then offer your expertise as a solution. Say, but do you want to? And some people say, in marketing, you should only just give them the what, not the how. So here's what your problem is, and then allude to the fact of you fixing it, but never tell them how to, because that's what they pay you for. We actually give everything. because then people pay us for the services, do you know? So it's a slightly different approach that we take. And I think it works really, really well. And I think whenever you're trying to hold back, here's what your problem is and here's why you're doing it, but we're not going to offer you a solution till you pay us. I don't like that, kind of.
No.
I can't do that myself. I struggle. If I was to hold back all the information that I was given, I wouldn't be able to talk to anybody. Because no matter who I'm sitting with to say this is going on, I just start telling them from my opinion what I believe to be. I'm like, hey, this is what I would look at. So for me to like hold that back, it's far too difficult. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah. And if you're ever thinking about, you know, the way Matthew had said it there about the problems, a way to try and figure out your becauses is looking at kind of the main problems your client has, you know, as Matthew had said there. Like if you look at... and another good way to do this is the wee tool the wee trick that we learned, which is if you, whatever product or service you have, there's going to be a book out there about it. So if you go on to, for example, was it Amazon? Is it Amazon Reads? What's the other one? Goodreads.
Yeah, Goodreads.
And type in a bit about whatever product or service it is you offer. There's a book out there, right? And then the book will get good reviews and bad reviews. And then you look at all the good reviews and see exactly what people want from that product or service, and you can help you use that towards your copy. And the same with the bad reviews. Whatever the bad reviews say, you'll know that people, your customers, wouldn't want to know or are struggling with, don't want that anywhere near them. So you can mention it and advise that you don't do that, whatever it might be. So it's just wee ways to try and come up with the copy, get you thinking about different pains and gains for your clients.
And if you have any questions, like reach out to us. Again, with consultation, we like give everything away. So we're happy to talk to anybody around that. And yeah, it's like, you know, it's once you get your head around it, once you understand the formula, it becomes so much easier. And once you really come to terms with the fact that you're always selling, even though you think that you're not. Yeah,
I think like just to wrap it up and just to go back to it, you know, there is a lot to learn, but it's even just starting to learn, you'll notice an impact, you know. And for us, the main thing is speak about your customer, talk to their pains and gains, and vary up your messaging. So entertain them, persuade them, inspire them. What's the other one? Educate them.
Yep, educate them. So that is us for today on the Mindset and Marketing Podcast. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye. See ya.